Hello guys, welcome back to another video. By seeing this picture you are thinking it is only a Raspberry Pi board. So what are we going to do in this video? We are going to turn this Raspberry Pi board into a pocket-sized Wi-Fi router. And it will be a super secure Wi-Fi router. So why do we choose a Raspberry Pi? Because it's small in size. And it's portable, and if you are concerned about privacy then you should have it. Now let's see the requirements to make our Raspberry Pi board into the Wi-Fi router. You will need an external Wi-Fi adapter that supports AP mode. I'm using a Ralink chipset external Wi-Fi adapter here. One Raspberry Pi board. I'm using a Raspberry Pi 4B. You can use any board. You will need an SD card reader along with an SD card. You can use a 1 GB memory card here as we only need 100 to 200 megabytes. I'm using a 1 GB memory card here. RJ45 cable, or you can call it Ethernet cable. Now move on to the PC. So how are we going to turn our Raspberry Pi into a Wi-Fi router? So we are going to take help of Openwrt. Openwrt, which literally means Open Wireless Router, is an open-source Linux operating system that has been developed to target embedded developers. Openwrt allows developers to completely customize the firmware on compatible network devices. How this will work? Our primary gateway to the internet services is the router provided by the ISP. But instead of directly connecting our devices to the router, we connect our RPi to this router using a LAN cable. This Raspberry Pi loaded with the Openwrt OS acts as an access point for all the devices that we want to connect. We are also going to add a VPN connection to the router for security purposes. Now you need to files on your PC. Use Windows OS. I will show this tutorial on Linux. Steps are the same for the Windows and Linux. You will need Etcher software or Raspberry Pi image flasher. To make a bootable SD card, I will give download link in description, so please to check it out. And the other file is Openwrt OS image. You can download from the official website. You can download the image file accordingly to your Raspberry Pi board. As I already mentioned, I have Raspberry Pi 4B, so I will download Raspberry Pi 4B image from the list. So we have all the files. Now if you are using Linux, so you have to give executable permission to Raspberry Pi Imager or Etcher Flasher to open the application. You can give permission via terminal, or you can right-click on the application, go to Properties, and give the executable permission there. Now connect your SD card to the PC using the card reader. Now select the Openwrt image and select the SD card, and click on Flash. Now wait until it flashes. It will take 2 to 3 minutes to flash the image. After flashing process is done, remove your SD card from the PC and insert into the Raspberry Pi board. After that, plug the power to your Raspberry Pi board and insert one end of the Ethernet cable in the Raspberry Pi board and the other end into the PC's Ethernet port. Now, we are going to take the remote of our Raspberry using SSH. Now what is SSH? The Secure Shell Protocol is a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecured network. Its most notable applications are remote login and command line execution. So to take the remote of the Raspberry Pi board using SSH, you need to open the command prompt in Windows and Linux. You need to open the terminal. By default, Openwrt IP address is 192.168.1.1. And now type this command SSH space username, in our case it root. So type root at symbol and IP address that I had mentioned, the default Openwrt IP address. that is 190.168.1.1. Now why or yes? You can also use the GUI mode of Openwrt. How do you use GUI mode? It's so simple. Open any browser and type the IP address of Openwrt. Now type here username as root and password will blank. As there is no default password for the Openwrt, you need to manually set up the password later. Set a strong password for Openwrt portal. Password can be set by navigating to System, Administration. To enable Wi-Fi by default. Wi-Fi is disabled on Openwrt due to security reasons. You can enable it by navigating to Network. Wireless, dual-band routers can have two radios. One for each band that needs to be configured individually. We are going to do all these settings using the terminal, because it's fun to use the terminal rather than GUI mode. You can also add plugins and add-ons like Ad Blocker, Adblock using plugins Adblock and Lucy App Adblock. Encrypted DNS, DNS over HTTPS with plugins DNS Mask, ANTPS DNS Proxy, or DNS over TLS with plugin Unbound. VPN, Open Client using plugins OPEN VPN OpenSol, and Lucy App Open VPN Split Tunneling. Enable split tunneling with VPN with plugins VPN Policy Routing and LUCI-EP-VP and -PLOIC-routing. Now let's move to the setup procedure. First we will set up the password to our Openwrt. For that, type on screen command password and enter the password that you want to set. As you can see, the password has been set for the Openwrt. Now we need to make some changes in the configuration file. For the go to etc and config path using cd command, we need make some changes in firewall, network, wireless configuration files. Before doing anything, always do backup first. If we messed up something, then we can revert back using backup files. To make a backup, type cp means copy, space file name that you want to make backup, space file name bk. Repeat tc steps for two other files. Now you can see we have made the backup of 3 configuration files. We will make some changes in the network configuration file. First, we will make changes in the network configuration file. For that, we will use the vi command to access the Vim editor. First, we will change IP to private IP address. For security purposes, address ranges to be read by private networks are Class A 10.0.0.0 to 10. 255.255, 255 Class B, 17.16.0.0 to 17.31.255.255, Class C, 19.168.0.0 to 19.168.255.255. We are going to use 10.50.71.1. After that, we need to add one option, that is force_link1, under the IP6 assign. In simple words, it is saying that 10.50.71.1 is my fixed IP, either I'm on or I'm off. Don't change my IP address, we need to configure it in computer language, binary language 01. Now we will make 2 new interface, that is 1 and VPN CNT. The 1 interface will connect Wi-Fi network with DHCP. The Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol DHCP is a network management protocol used on Internet Protocol networks for automatically assigning IP addresses and other communication parameters To devices connected to the network using a client-server architecture, we also add the DNS server option. I personally love the Cloudflare DNS, so we add the Cloudflare DNS IE 1.1.1. For backup we added Google DNS server, also opening parenthesis 8.8.8. 8. The domain name system DNS is the phonebook of the internet. Web browsers interact through Internet Protocol IP addresses. Now in second interface, you will set up VPN connection. That we will configure later, we are just made an interface here. We are implementing VPN because we want a secure internet connection over any public Wi-Fi. After that, save the configuration by typing column symbol and type WQ and press enter. Now we will make some changes in the firewall configuration file. Under the configuration zone of WAN, we will change the by default value of reject to accept in an input option. After these changes, save the configuration file. After saving these to configuration files, reboot your Raspberry Pi board. To reboot the Raspberry Pi board, type reboot command here. Now after the reboot, take the remote again using the SSH. But remember, this time your Openwrt IP will be changed according to our configuration file. That means our Openwrt will have 10.50.71.1. Now we will make some changes in wireless configuration file. Under Radio 0, change channel and set to 7. Change HU mode 11A to 11 grams and in mode change VHT80 to HT20. HT for O+ means that center frequency of the main 20 MHz channel is higher than that of the auxiliary channel, and HT for O otherwise. HT to O high throughput 20 MHz. 800 to 11 NVD80 very high throughput 80 MHz, supported by 800 to 0.11 ACIN. Disable settings, replace 1 to 0. Configured it in computer language A binary language 1010. Under this, an extra line short _G_40. Now save the configuration and type UC wireless and press enter. Now on the second line, type Wi-Fi and press enter. Now reboot your Raspberry Pi board one more time. After rebooting, you will be able to see the new Wi-Fi named Openwrt in your Wi-Fi section. You can connect to that Wi-Fi if you want. Now let's move to browser-based setup. Now we need to connect Openwrt to a public Wi-Fi for the internet. Now in Wireless Radio 0 you will be able to see 3 options. We need to scan the network around us using the scan button. As we are connecting to our home network, we will choose our network. That is GeoFiber, and after that enter the password. After that, click on the Save and Apply option. Now as you can see, we are now connected to the internet. To marquee an external Wi-Fi adapter as an access point. Again, we need to make some changes in configuration files. Before that, we will install an external Wi-Fi adapter RT5370. First, we will update our system package list. For that, we will use update command. From updated package, we can install UST library. External adapter driver, add drivers, Python. There are total 3,500 package that we can install and use it on Openwrt. Package installation will take time. I will give all the commands in the description.
Installation will take some time, so be patient.
Now after updating the packages, plug your external Wi-Fi adapter to Raspberry Pi board. Now again we will make some changes in wireless configuration file. Now this time, we will set AP access point mode to our external Wi-Fi adapter. Under the radio one, we will change the Optionto display value 120, and now in Wi-Fi iFace we will change SSID. SSID is your Wi-Fi name, so we will set it to C virus. Now change the encryption option to PSK2. TAC2 is a method of securing your network using Openwrt with the use of the optional pre-shared key. TSK authentication. Under this we need to add one more for password. Set up the complex password. Now after this, save the configuration and now again you need to run UCI commit command. After that press enter and again run Wi-Fi command. Now let's see if we can find our network here. Oh yes, we can see our network. C virus is showing, so let's connect to the network. So as you can see, now I have connected to the Openwrt network. So this is how you can make your own Raspberry Pi router using Openwrt. You can also add add-ins, like ad blocker, or you can use it as a server. So this is it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.